Hello, this is Arline Welty with DataQuest. Today I'm going to show you a little demonstration of how you can leverage attributes, which are basically user-defined fields, against orders in your system. And I'll show you how you can basically tag orders with specific attributes and then present those in a dashboard gadget that shows the people who need to attend to the order what they need to do. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the end result. This is the dashboard gadget. The gadget is called Orders Needing Special Handling. So I'm signed in as Arline, and you can see the notification email address highlighted here is my email address. Okay, so if I was signed in as someone else or another user on the team, I would see the notifications that are specific to that person. That's sort of the whole concept. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, starting with the end result, I'm going to sort of back into this by demonstrating how you can use attributes and assign them to orders, and then how you can create a generic inquiry which retrieves that data, and then how you can leverage that generic inquiry and present it in the form of a dashboard gadget. So that's start to finish. Okay, so we're starting at the end here, which is what it's going to look like. So how do I actually build the attributes against the order? All right, so here I'm navigating to attributes. This is the screen ID. You can use this throughout Acumatica. It's great. So what I did was create two attributes. So the two attributes that I'm creating are, what are the special handling instructions that are needed for this order? And then the other attribute is, who needs to worry about this? Like, who's the person who the order needs to be assigned to? So what you do is you create an attribute, a description, in our case, special handling request. The control type combination means I can select from a combination of options. So if I wanted to add a new combination option, I can do that here. Don't forget to add a sort order. If I decide that actually needs to go between the first and the second item, I could sort it that way. And then when I hit save, it sorts in that way that I requested. Another attribute that I made is called user email. Let's go look that up. So here's where I added the different options for user email addresses. So you want to just select the people to whom you're going to assign orders. So I create these two attributes, and these are essentially system-wide attributes that can then be assigned to different entities within Acumatica. So we've got the attributes, I know what they are, but I need to assign them to the order and then create a generic inquiry that views that data. Then I can sort of pull it all together with the dashboard gadget. So let's assign these two attributes to an order. Sort of in this edit screen, sales orders, and this is where I can choose from the customization menu, if they have the appropriate security rights, I can manage user-defined fields. So this is where you start customizing your system. So I added these two user-defined fields: order special handling request and user notification email address. To add these, you just go through this menu, add user defined field. Mine was OE special, order entry special. And then the other one that I added was called user email. Okay, so you select those, and now you've added the user defined fields to sales orders, so that when I go to enter sales orders, I have access to these user-defined fields. Let's check that out. If I go to create a new sales order, this is where I can see those attributes in action. Okay, so I've saved this order, and now I have this tab for user-defined fields where I can say, okay, this was a consignment order, and I'm going to notify Thomas Bloom at revision 2. So it just immediately attaches those attributes to your order, which is really nice. Okay, so let's say you've got this established, you've added the attributes to the order. Now everyone throughout your organization is adding these attributes, populating these attributes. We need a way to basically report on that, which is pull the data out of the system and present it in our dashboard gadget. So to do that, I need to go over to the generic inquiries area. So this is where I can create a new generic inquiry that looks at those attributes. I need to add it to a location on the sitemap. And this is where I actually do the building of the generic inquiry. Okay, so I've got the tables established, but now I actually need to build the relations. Okay, so if you're familiar with relational databases, then you'll be comfortable building these relations using the user interface rather than typing them out by hand, which is what some of us are used to. So you establish the relationship between the parent table and the child table, and you use this area below to define the data field links. So right now, all I've done is establish the links between the order table, the customer table, and the GL. And so now what I want to do is create conditions that my attribute fields are not null, because I don't need to return every single order in the database. So I need to find my attribute fields. They are added very nicely to the data access classes when you add these attributes through the user interface. So there's my attribute OE special, and the condition is that it's not null. And I have an operator of and. And now I'm going to find the other attribute, which is user email, is also not null. The sort order is requested. This is up to you. I'm just going to make it that the customer account ID is sorted ascending. The nice thing about this is you can even define the fields that you want in the results. So these would be all the fields that will be returned when you look at the results of the query. Okay, great. So we've basically established the results grid now. And the useful thing here is that I can just view the inquiry. Right away, I can understand if I've built my query correctly based on the results that I'm seeing here. So if I go to view inquiry, these are my results. I can see the addition that we just made of this order being assigned to Thomas Bloom. Okay, so now I have the sanity check that the generic inquiry that I created is working. And now all I want to do is add this grid to the dashboard. So I'm going to go to my dashboard. And if I put this in design mode, I can just add a new widget. Now remember when we added this to the sitemap, this is where we retrieve it. Okay, so that's our special handling data. We can make useful filter settings here. So I might say that the data field user email address matches the signed in user, for example. And I can write a caption. Okay, and now I've got my special handling orders. This is the way that you sort of see it from start to finish, from creating an attribute against your order or whatever entity, and presenting it in a generic inquiry, and then pulling the results of that generic inquiry into a dashboard gadget. Hope that helps.